how to start and grow your high ticket online business, which is what I specialize in. So I've been doing this now I've been doing high ticket for nearly 2.5 years now. And we're going to get into kind of a bit of my story. So this whole workshop, can you guys see my screen, by the way? I just want a thumbs up from you guys. Yeah, see it okay? The context around this entire masterclass is because I asked my nearly 1,000 members of my community over the last kind of month or so, like, where are you struggling? And turns out it's everywhere. Like, no surprise, everyone is struggling with clarity on my niche, clarity on getting leads, clarity on my personal branding content strategy, clarity on how to scale my business, and all of the above. I just need some damn clarity. I also asked my Instagram audience as well, and same kind of results. People are just wanting clarity. So that's what today is going to be about. So today you're going to learn a whole lot. So we're going to talk about the 9 major bottlenecks of a high ticket business and the 9 solutions that will help you break free from those bottlenecks. So first up is we're going to be talking about mindset, and I'll kind of go into why, but we've got to remember that if you are entering entrepreneurship or you're building and starting your business, you are starting with the default mindset of the 99.999% of humans. Now, you just have to ask yourself, does that mean I can be successful at something that the 0.0001% of people in the world are doing if I don't change the way I look at the world? The answer is no. You know that. So what are we going to do about it? We'll talk about that. Next up is clarity. So like not knowing what niche to serve. I'm going to give you the answers to how to find that. Then it's not knowing what to focus on. You guys will be familiar with shiny object syndrome. It is the killer of many people's business and entrepreneurship dreams. So we're going to talk about that and how to not let that be the case. We're going to talk about an offer. So not having an FEO, a fucking epic offer, that is a problem. Getting attention, not having a growing and trusted personal brand. Leads, not getting enough leads. Appointments, not booking enough sales calls. Sales, not closing enough sales. And fulfillment, not having enough time to fulfill new clients after you've solved these problems. So you can see this is a cascade effect. This is in sequence on purpose. So we're going to knock these off one by one, because it is really a case of the key to this unlocks this. The key to this unlocks this. Yeah. So it's a cascade and kind of cascades down. You guys with me so far? Nice. You guys will be familiar with this because you're all nerds. You're all entrepreneurship nerds. You know who James Clear is. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So author of Atomic Habits, nice smiley dude. So what you are about to see today, these are my systems that I've built over the past couple of years for my business and my students' businesses. I hope they help you get some clarity. Warnings. I swear. A lot. If you are a snowflake, you should fucking leave now. So this is not a fuck about lecture. This is high level sales and marketing. This has taken me 8 years and many thousands of bucks to learn these lessons I'm sharing today. And a lot of what I'm covering today, I've never spoken about publicly, like I've said. Now, here's a guarantee. This will either be the best presentation or the worst presentation you see today, or somewhere in between. That's my only guarantee for you, okay? No guarantees about making money or anything. It's either going to be the best, worst, or somewhere in between. Drop your questions in the chat. I'm going to come in there and take a look at them sporadically. I probably won't get to answer all of them, but please do drop them in. And I have a bonus gift for you at the end of this. And this is really specific and really important. So my gift to you at the end of this, if you stay to the end, is that I'm going to give you one of my private playbooks for our students, which is the Why You worksheet. And the reason why this is important, and I would say critical, is because this is really the key to unlocking everything in your brand. It is answering the questions of why someone should work with you over someone else. And in the creator economy, you have to know how to answer those questions. And answering those questions, which is what I guide you through in this worksheet, is what helps you build magnetic core messaging. It helps you build an electric personal brand that attracts people to you, a magnetic personal brand. And it is the core of everything that you do, is understanding why someone should work with you. Okay, you guys with me? Is that a fair little gift? Okay, All right. Okay, so my name's Tom Youngs. I'm the founder of CreatorLaunch. I'm on a mission to help 1 million creators find their purpose, uncover their mission, break free, make their impact, and unlock their true potential. I'm a former cosmetic dentist. I gave that up 8 years ago, and I'm a creator. I've got a combined audience of about 30K. It's growing pretty rapidly at the moment, which is really cool. I previously was a digital consultant to some of the biggest enterprise brands in the world, helping them improve their online experiences and customer journeys. So I'm very experienced when it comes to kind of like website building, user experience, and design. I've also done sales for enterprise software and customer success for enterprise software. And I've also owned my own SMMA agency where we were doing 40K a month, building and scaling online communities. Did that for about 2 years. And I've also been a freelance growth consultant for Paperboy Studios, which is a newsletter studio agency for creators. It's probably the biggest in the world, who have some of the biggest creators in the world on their board. And the owner is Sahil Bloom, who's also one of the biggest creators out there. So CreatorLaunch is a growth infrastructure partner. We help hyper ambitious creators scale their coaching or consulting business past 30K per month with microeducation hybrid business model, the attraction and authority flywheel, value synthesizing and sales assets frameworks, sales mastery, and scaled delivery systems. This is posh for saying sales and marketing. We help one-person business owners get good at sales and marketing. And yeah, we get results. So this is one of our students, Ben, who we helped him go from just under 6K a month to over 30K a month with his information coaching business. So if you're here today, it means you are very, very special. It means that you are pulled towards being a leader. I believe creator, entrepreneur, leader is the same thing. And I'm going to give you a bunch of examples why I think that's the case. This lovely looking dude over here. So you should be ashamed of your slovenly, happy-go-lucky, harem, scarum style of work. Never have I received a really good report of your conduct from any headmaster or tutor. Always behind. Incessant complaints of a total want of application to your work. You have failed to get into the 60th Rifles, the finest regiment in the army. You have imposed on me an extra charge of some £200 a year. Do not think that I'm going to take the trouble of writing you long letters after every failure you commit and undergo. I no longer attach the slightest weight to anything you may say. If you cannot prevent yourself from leading the idle, useless, unprofitable life you have had during your school days, you will become a mere social wastrel, one of the hundreds of public school failures, and you will degenerate into a shabby, unhappy, and futile existence. You will have to bear all the blame for such misfortunes. Your mother sends her love. Now, that's from this dude's dad. It's a pretty punchy letter, right? Like, did any of you guys receive anything like that from your dad? Luckily, I didn't. Even though I was a little bit of a naughty guy at school. So the question you've got to ask yourself is, how could a teenage boy receive a letter like this and then end up being one of the most feared leaders the world has ever seen? How was someone who received a letter like that as a teenager able to lead one and multiple countries to win a world war? How? It's because Winston Churchill was a disruptor. He actually did end up getting into the army. And before the age of 25, he had asked to fight in 4 different wars. And he went and fought in 4 different wars across 4 different continents before the age of 25. Keep in mind, this was before the end of the 18th or the 19th century. This was in the 1890s. He traveled around on ships all over the world and asked to be put in front of gunfire, swords, and he asked to be on the front line. So when people think about Winston Churchill, they think he's just this old fat dude, like politician, whatever. Dude was an absolute warrior. He asked to be put in front of bullets. And think about the amount of knowledge, the amount of skills in war, the amount of experience he managed to accumulate just before the age of 25 in a time when it would take 6 months to travel to India, which he did, or 4 months to travel to Cuba, which he did, or 2 months to travel to New York, which he did, or 4 months to travel to the Sudan when he did, all before the age of 25. So this guy was different. And it was his difference and his points of difference which gave unconventional tactics that allowed the allies of Britain, America, to group together and defeat Germany in World War II. Because he used unconventional tactics that weren't considered normal at the time. Disruption is what won World War II. And disruption is the soul of the creator. We live in a different time. Still have war, but we do live in a different time. Now, you guys will recognize this guy. You've probably seen a lot of him over the past few years, right? Yeah? Screaming at you about attention. Well, this guy's been doing things for a long time. He's been disrupting the industries that he works in for a long time. He was the first guy to start doing wine blogs back in 2006 on YouTube. And he did 1,000 video episodes on YouTube, just drinking and tasting wine. No one was doing that. He was first. This lad, he was a disruptor from the start. Started with record companies. So he had his own record company where he was selling dirt cheap records. Finally then moved into transatlantic travel where he started Virgin Atlantic, disrupting the airline industry. You all know who this guy is. What do I need to say about the disruption of the car industry? Completely changed it and put it on his head. Same with this geezer. Old Jeff started in his little office, just like a lot of us here. And we might be in our bedrooms like I'm at, or in our little home office. This is what Jeff's life used to look like. We all start somewhere, right? But they all started with disruption. And I would say potentially the most famous disruptive entrepreneur of them all is this guy, who was renowned for creating a business and a brand that was around rebellion. These guys were the rebels. They were the rebels. They did things differently. They were obsessed. They were creators, and they became great leaders. How? They created tribes. And they led their tribes to a brighter future. Virgin, Tesla, Apple. They created tribes. And this is what you must do. So that feeling you have of being pulled towards entrepreneurship, that is you being called to fulfill your destiny as a leader of your tribe. I truly believe this. I truly believe that like the call that I had with Chris 2 years ago when he called me and told me he was going to go all in on himself, was him making the decision that he was a leader and he's going to lead his tribe, which he's been doing now for 2 years, which is sick. So your role as a leader is to help and pull people through to your vision of a brighter future. And this is really the essence of what your content strategy, what your marketing, what your brand design, what your sales messaging, this is really what it has to encapsulate. Is you as a leader helping pull your people through to your vision of a brighter future. So if you're going to get nothing from this presentation apart from one thing, please let it be this. If it is hard, good. If you are scared, good. If you are worried, good. If you are doubtful, good. If you are uncertain, good. If you are overwhelmed, good. Because it is the best sign you'll ever get that you are on the right path to become the leader you're destined to become. And this is why I shouldn't be called CreatorLaunch. It shouldn't be called CreatorLaunch. It should be called LeaderLaunch, because that's ultimately what my mission is to help empower the next generation of leaders. Do you guys resonate with this at all? Do you think am I barking up the wrong tree here? Yeah, leaders. Okay, so problem number problem number one is that we all have the default mindset of the 99.999%. And for us to have success in a realm, which is the realm of the 0.0001%, you see how we must completely shift our minds. Does that make sense? It wouldn't make sense for us to stick with the same mentality, the same perspective, the same worldviews, the same habits, the same behaviors, the same skills, the same knowledge, it just wouldn't make sense. Surely not. So we have to shift things. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. It is going to cost you your comfort zone and your sense of direction. It's going to cost you relationships and friends. It's going to cost you being liked and understood. It doesn't matter. The people who are meant for you are going to meet you on the other side. You're going to build a new comfort zone around the things that actually move you forward. Instead of being liked, you're going to be loved. Instead of being understood, you're going to be seen. All you're going to lose is what was built for a person you no longer are. That sends shivers up my spine when I read that. Every time I read that, it makes me just remember that I have chosen to walk a different path. And if this is the price, I'm fucking willing to pay it. How about you guys? Now, the problem with this is there's a problem with this, is because as humans, we have this friction because we are both comfort-seeking organisms and goal-seeking organisms. And they butt heads with each other. There is friction there. Because when we go towards goals, we get out of our comfort zone and we feel discomfort because it's not normal to us. And what happens is we have all these mechanisms that knock us back down. And so I've got a recommendation. So this is my first recommendation. This is one of the mandatory reading books in the launch program, which is The Mountain Is You, which I read that quote from. And this is all about turning self-sabotage into self-mastery. Okay. And I've got a second book, which is Psycho-Cybernetics, which I would probably say is the most important book I've ever read. And I go back to, I'm almost constantly reading it, to be honest. It is a stunningly easy read. And it is the first time I've read something which spoke to kind of the scientific side of me, which was explaining why, in a scientific way, why we are goal-seeking creatures and how to utilize that to our advantage. And this is, I would say is this is the number one book I make people read. And everyone who reads it says the same thing, like mind blown by it. Easy read, written by a cosmetic surgeon from the 1950s, and it reads like it was written last month, which is insane. So when we are on the process of leveling up, what happens is we butt our heads up against our comfort ceiling. And what we need to do to crack through the comfort ceiling is we need to increase and raise our standards. And our standards are what we consider acceptable. And what we need to do is we need to raise them so that we can just crush through them and not get knocked back down. And this is painful as fuck. Raising our standards is painful. And you have to understand that. What are some of the ways which I've used to raise my standards? Honestly, the best way I've done it is I have a vision board on my CreatorOS Notion dashboard, and I have a few rows of about 15 of my entrepreneur heroes. And I'm constantly reviewing that every day. And I'm always asking myself the question, what would XYZ do if they were faced with this decision? This is the only way I've really figured out how to raise my standards, is by actually looking at who I want to become and asking myself the question, what would this person decide to do in this situation if I was them? That's the only way, to be honest. Like I just haven't figured out another way to do that. So how does resistance manifest? Because resistance is this process of hitting your comfort ceiling. You hit your comfort ceiling and you get resistance, which pushes you back down. It manifests as fear, anxiety, overwhelm, doubt, uncertainty, and a common one in entrepreneurship is procrastination, which is not doing the things we know we're supposed to do. And that is because it's uncomfortable. And it's because our body is saying, no, you need to stay comfortable. You need to stay in this zone where you know what it feels like. So don't do the work. Don't worry. Just don't do the work. It doesn't need to get done. That is why that happens. So a reminder, resistance is your best signal that you are leveling up and creating a new identity. Now, the problem is I can teach you all the tools, tactics, and strategies in the world, but if you're not able to break through resistance, you will not succeed. So how do we break through resistance? You must craft a new identity. And I have created an entire course on how to do this. It's 6 hours long. You can access it either through Skool. It's the Creator Accelerator course. It is 6 hours of information that I've paid thousands of dollars for in the past. And I made it here for free because I want people to win. And when I've spent money on courses, the mindset training and the crafting a new identity has been the most impactful material, because the tools and tactics, that stuff's the easy stuff. The hard stuff is what's in here. And so I've tried to do my best to take all of my lessons and package it into this. That's the best I can do, and that's the best I can offer you. I'm to be honest, pretty happy with that gift. So we now have problem number 1 solved. Yes, yay. Having the default mindset of the 99.99%. What's the solution? You need to become someone else. You need to become someone who sits in the 0.001%. Okay, you guys with me so far? Okay. Okay. Problem number 2, not knowing what niche to serve. Now, there is a secret to finding your destiny. There is a secret to unlocking limitless motivation, desire, and willpower. There is a secret to uncovering the impact you are destined to make. There is a secret to finding your niche. The secret? Well, the secret, your destiny, and the impact of your life is just hidden amongst your behaviors. It's all there for you. And you can either look at this, you can decide what perspective you want to take with this one. You can either look at it as a good thing or a bad thing. But the truth is, all these companies know every single fucking thing about you. Everything. They know your kinks. They know your habits. They know your preferences. They have the dirt. So the question is, do you want to take the dirt that they have and actually use it for good and build a business and build a brand? Because you can. And there's some simple ways to do this. Like really as simple as you go to the YouTube search bar and you go and look at your search history and you go and look at you go and look at your history. You go to YouTube, you go and look at your history of videos and just go look through the last 20 videos or the last 20 things you watched. And you're going to put those into buckets. And for me, if I go and look at mine is entrepreneurship, house music, golf, skiing. And there's absolutely fucking nothing else there. That's how good it knows me. That's how good it knows me. This is years and years of data these bastards have. Netflix. Now this is an interesting one. And I'm gonna maybe the spoiler alert, I might ruin your favorite film here. Do you know why your favorite films are your favorite films? No? Your favorite films, and again, a spoiler alert, your favorite films are your favorite films because you identify with the main character. There is something within that character, personality trait, like character, like just beliefs, mannerisms. There is something within that character that you identify with. When you think about that and you think about your top 5 favorite films, what do you guys think? Is that because I know this is the truth for me? Because when I heard this and I learned this, I went through my list. I was like, fuck, that is very obvious. And I decided, by the way, I've decided not to talk about this publicly because I realized these guys already have loads of ammo. They could probably figure out my top 5 favorite films, but I'm not going to give them any more ammo. Motherfuckers will be stealing my bank details at some point then. So anyway, so your favorite films are because you identify with the main character. So ask yourself, who is the main character? What are the trends that you see? What are the character traits? Who potentially is that person that you probably wish you could become and you want to become? Because I can easily do this with mine. I can easily say, I can list them out and be like, that person's like that. I'm not like that. That person's like that. I wish I was like that. This is how you craft an identity that is related to your niche. Audible. What books do you read? Go look at the books that you've listened to. Instagram. Now, this is a dangerous one because depending on how much, depending on your usage of Instagram, which I know a lot of guys who use Instagram in a pretty nefarious way, your explore page will say either what you're interested in or what you spend too much time doing. But this will give you some ideas. Again, same as YouTube search history, YouTube watch history, your Instagram explore page will give you the hints. What are you interested in? For me, it's golf, again, skiing, entrepreneurship, personal development. Those are the main ones. And then where do you spend your money? Outside of the groceries, rent, what do you spend your money on? What are your like things that you like spending your money on? Your interests? Because Alex Hormozy said this himself. You vote with your dollars on the things that you like. So can you see how your behaviors are giving you all of the clues to your niche? Yeah? Starting to kind of make sense here. Now, again, I've kind of made this easy for you because these are all free. So this is within the Creator Accelerator course. I've created a bunch of free playbooks, exercises, and worksheets that take you through all of these self-discovery moments and exercises one by one to end up at what is my niche? Who should I serve? What is my new identity? Who's my ideal customer? What is my minimum viable offer? I've literally given this. This is all here for free. It's all in the classroom in Skool. You can download it. It's on Notion. You just press the download button and they're all yours. And again, this is stuff I've paid thousands for in the past and it's free. Okay, so that was Problem number two, not knowing what to focus on. No, sorry, finding your niche. Now, problem number three is not knowing what to focus on, shiny object syndrome, aka shiny object syndrome. Now, you guys will know, like shiny object syndrome is the killer of success because I've been there and it's killed my progress. I did e-commerce, drop shipping, I did crypto, I did SMMA. And I only started making significant progress once I committed to a proven game plan and stuck to it. Last year, I interviewed 12 of the biggest creators in the world. And I asked them all the same question. What made the biggest impact on the trajectory of your career as a creator? And they all, every single one of them, said the same thing. They all said that investing an uncomfortable amount of money in mentorship and a proven game plan was when everything changed for them. And I heard this yesterday and I literally couldn't get it out of my head. And I posted on Instagram from Hormozy. In this life, the only way to buy time is to buy the knowledge from other people that paid with theirs. In this life, the only way to buy time is to buy the knowledge from other people that paid with theirs. So why does this work? Because the more clarity you have, the less you feel overwhelmed, the more confidence you have, the more in control you feel, the better your work is, and the faster you make progress towards your ultimate goals. And clarity is what took my friend Ben here, who is a previous student of ours, took him from $8,000 a month to eventually getting to 40K a month within 6 months. This was someone who had amazing skills, passionate, had an audience, and just needed clarity. And, you know, he came to me, I guess he needed help and clarity. And he was like, I want to get to 30K a month in 12 months. And I helped him. I took him through all of that process that you saw just before, above, all of the self-discovery. I went through and I did the hard stuff, the stuff that maybe most people would say is fluff. And that is all he needed. He just needed clarity on who he is, who he serves, what his niche is, and he did the rest. This is an example of someone who didn't need the tactics and strategies. He needed to just get out of his own fucking way, which he did. And I was stoked for him, like really stoked. Like he just crushed it. As soon as he had kind of clarity on what his goals are, what his vision is for his future, he made things happen, which wasn't a surprise. This is what I do. This is my job. My job is to help people with the proven roadmap and game plan to get to their goal, which is ideally to build a high ticket business to 10 to 30K in monthly income. So we have a huge amount of systems, resources, components that people can use to propel and accelerate them towards their goal. And I kind of call this the complete business infrastructure. But this stuff only works because you have what I consider to be the 4 elements of the success equation. The first one being, what the fuck do I focus on? Clarity. What do I focus on? What do I need to focus on? What is actually the 10% of stuff I need to focus on? And what do I need to get rid of? What is the 90% of stuff I need to get rid of? And then the question is, okay, well, what is the sequence? Because there's no point me doing this thing that I know I need to get done at some point, but that's months down the road. But not knowing what sequence to do it in means you will never make progress because you're always tripping yourself up. So that's what a proven game plan is. And then there's probably, I think, one of the, all of these things are kind of, I would say, equal, but accountability is the one which, if you harness accountability, and what I'll show you is the multi-layers of accountability, then you make serious progress. And then finally, the one thing that is constant is time. You just have to give things enough time. So problem number 3, not knowing what to focus on. Shiny object syndrome. The solution for number 3 is investing in a proven game plan. It's worked for me. It's worked for like I said, the 12 of the biggest creators out there. Time and time again, Hormozi has said it. He is a huge, obviously a huge advocate of the education space, seeing as though he's an investor in Skool. So that's my biggest lesson. I can't wait to invest more money in my education. It feels like I'm getting a ticket. Like it feels like when I do that, it's like I buy a ticket to what when I was younger, like going to a theme park or whatever would feel like. It feels like I'm going to do something really fucking fun. So I love it. Okay, right. We're gonna have a little short kind of questions thing here. Okay, so da, da, da. Right. Are there any questions? Does anyone want to chuck any questions out of me? Want to unmute and hit me? Looking like it's just a whole load of good vibes in the chat so far, which is good news. Is this good? Is this kind of okay at the moment? Yeah, we're actually not even getting to the good stuff yet. We're not even getting to the good stuff, which is promising, right?
Oh, can I unmute and ask a question? Is that
Hit me,
fine?
man. Who is this? Who
Oh,
have I got?
it's Stefan. It's Stefan. I'm eating right now, so I
Hey,
don't have my camera on.
all good,
Um,
man.
yeah. Anyway, so you were talking about Creator Accelerator? Did you join Eddie's and Brady's course?
Sorry, Eddie, and what? Sorry.
Eddie and Brady, the growthoperator.com Creator Accelerator. You were talking about it.
No, sorry, that was my course. That's my. I
Oh,
didn't know if someone else has got something out there called Creator Accelerator.
yeah, they do.
Yeah, my bad. I wouldn't. I obviously knew that was probably a common name.
Yeah.
But no, that's my course. I just obviously
Okay.
called it the same as that.
Yeah. No worries, man.
All good.
Thanks for the answer.
No worries. Good to clear that up. Um, cool. Anyone else? Just gonna blow my nose. I was sick last week. And we're back. Okay, magic. Should we get going again? Right. So problem number 4, not having an FEO, a fucking epic offer. Now, most businesses have a boring, simple, and easy to copy offer. This is the problem with low ticket, to be honest, because solve small problems, win small prizes. Solve big problems, win big prizes. It really is that simple. So to have a thriving high ticket and high profit business, you must have a sophisticated fucking epic offer. So how do we build a sophisticated fucking epic offer? Let's go through that. So you guys will be familiar with this because I know you're all like um Hormozy Maxis like I am, but this is obviously the value equation, which most of you will be familiar with. Now, a reminder that these are kind of the 4 main elements of providing value. So we've got the dream outcome, what do people actually want? The perceived likelihood of them achieving that outcome, how likely are they going to get there? And then divided by the perceived time delay to outcome, so how fast can we get them there? And the perceived effort and sacrifice, how easy or relatively easy can we make it for them? And remember with this equation, we want the dream outcome, we want the top half of the equation to be high. We want the dream outcome to be as big as possible. Lose 20 pounds, 10x our revenue, 10x happiness with spouse, whatever it may be. And the perceived likelihood of achievement to also be high. So what does that mean in reality? We need proof, we need testimonials, we need case studies, we need guarantees. We need the stuff to say to people we're going to get them to where they're going to get to. And the bottom half of the equation needs to be low. So time delay as small as possible within reason. Of course, like this is you have to use your intelligence for this. Like you can't just there's no point just saying stupid numbers because then people will not believe you. It has to be reasonable. And effort and sacrifice need to be low. So simple and easy to follow and adhere to the methods. That's the key thing is you need it to be easy to follow and easy to adhere to the methods. And this is something that I think about all the time. Like, I just went through an entire recreation of all of my resources at CreatorLaunch. And the entire time I was questioning, can I take this away? Can I remove this? Can I make it simpler? Can I get rid of this? Can I get rid of fluff? And that's in an aim to make adherence as high as possible. Okay, let's give you some offer examples. So, shit offer, I help you lose weight. Weak offer, I help you lose 20 pounds. Better offer, I help you lose 20 pounds in 12 weeks. A fucking epic offer, I help you lose 20 pounds in 12 weeks by only having to exercise 3 times a week, still eating the foods you love, so you can fit into your favorite pair of jeans so you feel great in front of all the other mums when you go pick up your kids from school. I guarantee you'll get there, or I'll work with you for free until we get you there. Can you see how that's just a much more sophisticated offer? And this is the one thing when it comes to the simplicity, there's a balance, because complex problems do need complex solutions. And especially in the business world with technology, things are getting more complex. So you're always trying to, there's this fine balance between keeping things simple enough, but still complex enough to get great results. And with an offer, you do want it to be, for a sophisticated offer, it needs to be complex. So remember, what do people actually want? This is people, if again, probably if I'm going to throw this in here as well, if you're going to remember nothing, you have to remember what people actually want. You have to know what it is people actually want. Like, what do they want? There are 3 main things they want. The first is status. They want to be seen by others to have a high status. Yeah. I think we can all agree on that. Like, that is why people buy Lambos. Everyone wants a better future. And that what their vision of their better future is typically sits within the three eternal markets of wealth, health, and relationships. And I keep this really simple. I'm always like, okay, and this is my aim with CreatorLaunch. And my aim will forever be to try and do this, which is, how do I 10x someone's wealth? That's my, like, ultimately when I'm answering the question, how can I help someone? I'm always going to, at the beginning of the year, beginning of the quarter, when I'm reviewing stuff, what do I need to do to get closer to being able to 10x someone's wealth? That's my job. I have relationship coaches, I have performance coaches, I have kind of brand building, audience building coaches. So I have a lot of my students sit across all 3 of these. Not across all 3, but they serve one of them. But the question has always got to be, how do I 10x? How do I give such a significant increase? Always coming back to that, because you've got to know, because the reason is, if you can answer this, if you can say, what can 10x? What can get me my 6-pack in 10 weeks? What can 10x my wealth in, 6 months, 12 months? What happens is this, how do I get, like, go on 10 dates within the next 3 months? I haven't been on a date for like 6 months. Because 10xing these are linked to this. It's the prerequisite for this, is 10xing these. And then finally, what do people want? They want certainty. They want as much certainty as possible that you can get them to this. Okay, so let's give you an example of a fucking epic offer. So I'll help you lose 20 pounds in 12 weeks by only having to exercise 3 times per week, still eating the foods that you love so you can fit into your favorite pair of jeans so you feel great in front of all the other mums when you go pick up your kids from school. Guarantee, or I'll work with you for free until we get you there. So we've got a clear desired outcome. We've got time delay, 12 weeks. We've got effort and sacrifice 3 times per week and still eating fave foods. And we've got the likelihood of achievement. We've got a guarantee in there. For me, mine is I help you scale businesses to 30K per month within 12 months by providing you with the complete growth infrastructure, clarity on the proven sequence to implement that infrastructure, and multiple layers of accountability to keep you on track for your goals to build a dream business and life of freedom, impact, and purpose. Guarantee, or I'll work with you for free until you get there. Yeah. So that's a real world, I mean, my real world example. So it ain't as simple. It's not a simple thing. So ultimately, I believe it comes down to a change in how we do things. I do not believe in this bullshit. I do not believe that you either have to be a coach or a consultant. I think this is a dumbass way of looking at things. It's never made sense to me. You know, what this means is that a coach would previously work in a non-directive fashion. You would provide them the guides, the guide rails, and you would leave it up to them to let them wander down the path themselves until they hit the guide rails. Whereas a consultant tells you to just fucking walk there. Now, this is dumb. This makes no sense to me because this all this does is you are not answering the most important question. And you have to ask this question. What is the most effective way for my clients to get results? Because when you ask that question, you forget about this bullshit and you start looking at all the options that you can use in your arsenal. You look at these as weapons. Does that make sense? Why handicap yourself to not being able to use tools that are just going to get you clients to their perfect results? So I see things in a different way. I see things in a new way. And this is kind of where I'm at with my business and kind of where I hope the kind of this space is going to go. And with the pace of innovation, the change in traditional education, I hope that this is going to be more of a common style. I believe it will be, which is this hybrid approach where what we're doing is we're asking what do we need to do? What is the most effective way for my clients to get results? And we are giving them the solution, no matter what it is, and no matter how it is delivered. And so what I see is I see a microeducation business as sitting somewhere in this Venn diagram between do it yourself in the coaching world, done with you in the consulting world, or freelancing an agency in the done for you world. And I see the answer of how do I get the best results? I see it as being in the middle of this. I see it as being, who knows, maybe the best way to do something is by teaching them how to do it themselves. So they learn the lessons. Who knows? Maybe it's doing it for them. Maybe it's doing a little thing for them, showing them how it's done. Then they can learn how to do it. Does this make sense, guys? Yeah. Now, this is what has allowed Felipe, one of my clients, one of my students, to quit his 9 to 5, move from NYC to Brazil, and go all in on his podcast scaling consultancy and sell a 10 to 15K sophisticated fucking epic offer. And the man is on the phone, I think, as we speak, about to hopefully, fingers crossed, close a 10K deal, which would be sick. And I will admit I am absolutely jealous of this guy because he is sitting in Brazil. Literally, this is his view every morning, sitting out overlooking a ranch with a swimming pool, having his coffee. And yeah, I'm absolutely jealous, but the dude is crushing it. And yeah, this is like kind of Chris. I've been watching with jealousy, watching his life over the last 2 years. I'm glad I got to meet him eventually. So yeah, okay, so how do we do this? Well, kind of this is one of the solutions that I've got, which is actually creating a fucking epic golden offer. This is just a snapshot of a screenshot of one of my worksheets in the launch program. This is one of the infrastructure. This is one of the playbooks that I help guide people through to be able to build their own fucking epic offer. It's got about 20 to 30 examples of sophisticated offers in here and how they've articulated them. So that is how I help people with that. Now, your gift, remember, if you stay till the end, is this, because this is a really key component in this. Your fucking epic offer is figuring out why someone should work with you. And it's answering a bunch of questions that get you to this answer of why you. So I'm going to give this to you guys. So problem number 4, we're cranking through these. Not having a fucking epic offer. You need to craft a sophisticated fucking epic offer. I might be out of F bombs now. I'm sorry, guys. Especially if there are any snowflakes on this call, my bad. You'd be melting by now. Okay, sick. Right, time for a deep breath because it is time to increase the spice factor. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to turn up the heat in the kitchen? Yeah, I am. Okay. So yeah, this is where it's going to get there's going to be a lot of nuance over the next kind of like four problems that we're going to solve together. This is where the strategy is. This is where this is where it's at. So problem number 5 is not having a growing and trusted personal brand, which in the modern era where we are in the creator economy that could approach $500 billion within the next 3 years, this is a big problem to have. And it is the reason all businesses are going all in on social media marketing, branding, and content. I've been amazed at how many examples I've seen of organizations. I saw an incredible one the other day. YouTube. I saw a YouTube video. Like I said, I'm into skiing, and I saw a video of a guiding company in France that helps people climb up Mont Blanc in France, the highest mountain in the Alps. And I was watching this video, and it was this dude who's just this British guy who's an alpine guide, but he was being filmed and recorded in like a one of the world's biggest podcast esque studio setups. And I realized I was like, hang on a sec, this is I would never would have seen this a few years ago. But they were showcasing their product. It was like it was, this was just one of the many videos that they have, but they had increased the quality, they'd increased the effort, they've clearly invested, and they saw how they need to be able to tell these stories of the people that they take up this mountain, and they need to show quality, and they need to show, and they need to get attention through doing it. And they're doing these videos getting hundreds of thousands of views. So you need to have a growing and trusted personal brand. And this is why guys like Dan Coe made 4 million last year. But remember, the man started with high ticket brand consulting. That was where he started. He didn't start with his courses. He started with high ticket brand consulting. And our mate Dakota Robertson, who I think I spoke to him, and I apologize because I quoted him as saying he was I think at like 40K a month, and it turns out he'd actually passed 100, had 100K a month. So he's been crushing it, and he started with high ticket ghostwriting services. Our little Asian boy Ali Abdal, I can say that because I'm Asian, by the way. So making 300K a month with his high ticket part-time YouTuber Academy, which I think costs about 4K to be a member of. Now, how have they done this? And some of you may not, and I told you this is some of this stuff I haven't spoken about publicly, and this is one of them. And they have done this because they have escaped the leverage trap and made it through the rarefied atmosphere of the leverage payoff. Now, in dumbass terms, I'm going to simplify this. They've basically done it long enough. So in real dumbass terms, they've just stayed consistent, and they have made it through the time when it felt like nothing was ever going to work, and they were never going to make it through. And this is the leverage trap, and this is where people quit right before they get into the leverage payoff, which is where you've built enough energy and momentum with your content efforts, and you've built enough attention, enough trust, and enough brand authority and brand affinity and reciprocity with your audience. They all pay to work with you. And so this is the difference between at the start when you are doing linear work, where you actually see not much of a payoff for your incredible efforts at making content. I remember like speaking to Chris when he started making content. I know how difficult it was, but it's like they pushed through. They learned the skills. They like got there and made it happen. And it's the same with a lot of my students. They're the first time, you just have to do it. But the aim is to get to here. And what I've seen, this is again, like I said, interviewed a dozen of the biggest creators last year, and because I asked them the same question, and I looked at their stories, I followed their content, and I could get a really good sense of like, I was like, okay, so all of these guys, all of these people are seemingly, it's taken them about between 2 to 3 years. It's seemingly on their third year of being a creator where they've hit this point. 3 years. So from starting, where you're starting posting content, and remember, like, sometimes when you're starting posting content, maybe you're not going to be making content on the same stuff that you're going to be making content over here. It's going to change. But it's really 3 years of consistent daily efforts of really playing the game, learning the rules and playing the game. I've seen this through all of those guys, Dakota, Danko, all of the big creators that I interviewed. It was 3 years. So the question you've got to ask yourself is, where are you? Where are you on this chart? Because I know I'm kind of around here, is my guess. I could be wrong. I could be all the way down here. But I do get the feeling, and I'm seeing this from the numbers on my socials. I'm feeling like I'm getting closer. Because I'll tell you what, last year I felt like quitting. And I didn't. So it makes me feel like I was down here because it was really tough. And I'm seeing a lot of evidence now that there's more interest in my stuff. My content is easier to get attention, getting more engagement. And for me, I've got much more clarity on the type of content to create. So that probably helps as well. And so I feel like I'm now on the upward curve. Hopefully, fingers crossed. No fingers crossed. I fucking hate that, actually. Don't imagine I didn't say that. I'm gonna headbutt the wall after this for saying that. I hate that. So the leverage trap. Like I said, from all the evidence I've seen, it typically takes at least 3 years of consistent personal brand building to reach escape velocity and into the rarefied atmosphere of the leverage payoff. So how did they do this? How did they do this? They did this by building a personal brand flywheel. So a flywheel is something that takes angular motion, turns it into circular energy, stores energy. So we do that in the content industry by attracting strangers, engaging them. We're engaging with them, turning them into prospects, potential clients. We then convert them into customers with sales, and then we get results with them, and they turn into promoters, which then attracts more strangers. And we help this process. We speed this process up by making sales assets and content that shows the delight that our clients have and the results that they get. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up. Nice. Okay, I know we're getting deep in here. Okay, so how can you do this too? Now, in my opinion, this is the simplest, most effective, and elegant way to scale a high-ticket business. Doesn't matter if you're an agency, coach, consultant, doesn't matter. Remember, simple scales, complex fails. Now, I'm going to give Hormozy that quote, but I'm sure someone else said it before him. Now, the online marketing space loves to overcomplicate things. Webinar funnels, upsell funnels, cross-sell funnels, challenge funnels, low-ticket funnels, bullshit funnels. You don't need a funnel. You need an evergreen business model is what you need. And I truly believe that this is what I'm building. And this is what I get my students to build, which is frankly a simple and elegant and evergreen. This is the key, evergreen, because this is what the same method that Ali Abdaal, Danko, Dakota Robertson, this is the same method that these guys are using. With a bit of a caveat, I've made it much more simpler by adding this element to it, which is the one simple ad. So this is the attraction and authority flywheel. This is essentially the business model that I build I use and my students use. So it starts with lead generation through a one simple ad. We'll get to that in a second, to the OSA protocol. And that's driving leads and driving traffic from your ideal, perfect future client. You then get new perfect fit followers to follow you based on this ad. You then message these new followers, and eventually you can get someone else to do it, which I do. I have an appointment setter. And you then get them to watch a video sales letter, which tells people and pre-sells them, persuades them on who you are and how you help people. You then get on Zoom calls. you turn them into a new client, you get results with that client, and then you turn those results into sales assets, which you distribute on long form content platforms like YouTube and Spotify, which is what I do. And you also distribute those sales assets into your free community, which I believe is the best community building thing right now, platform right now is Skool. You can do it on other community platforms, but the course for micro education, the course facilities, I've been really, really impressed with Skool. And bear in mind that I come from a UX, a user experience, design background, so I have a pretty like kind of, I've got a finger on the pulse when it comes to this stuff. I've been really impressed with the user experience with Skool. And what this does is this acts to nurture your new perfect fit followers, increases the chances of them turning into a client. And we're going to get to that in a second. So why does this work? So first up, it's simple. So you've got less parts to break. Secondly, it builds personal brand audience at the same time as your pipeline of perfect future clients. Really key to understand this. When you are driving people to follow you, which is what you do with the one simple ad approach, these people are following you. So you're building your personal brand audience at the same time as your future pipeline of perfect future clients. It is so damn elegant. This builds trust, reciprocity, which is goodwill, and pipeline equity at the same time. This persuades versus hard sells. So you don't have to do any hard selling. And this solves the biggest challenge with high ticket, which is lead generation. Okay, let's get into the content shit, because I know a lot of people here are like wondering what to create content on and what is the content strategy. I'm literally going to give you exactly what I do right now. I'm going to give you exactly what I do, what I teach my students. Okay, so what content to create? So first up, we have two types of platforms. We have growth platforms and we have nurture platforms. Now, our growth platforms are Instagram, LinkedIn, and our nurture platforms are YouTube and Spotify. Now, our growth platforms is where we get people to find you. Our nurture platforms are getting people to trust you. And this gets people to spend way more time with you, which gets people to like you, which gets people to eventually buy from you. So what is this content strategy on your growth platform? So I'm on Instagram. I kind of teach Instagram. That's my kind of like my main thing. I really make this as simple as saying Meta, so Facebook and Instagram, it has the biggest pool of leads on planet Earth. I honestly believe this. I believe like you have more of a chance of getting through to someone with both a B2C and a B2B offer on Instagram and Facebook than you do on places like LinkedIn, because everyone's on Facebook and Instagram. And where are they spending more time? And you know I don't need to tell you the answer to that. So I just use logic. Okay, so part one is growth platform. What's my strategy? I have a 7-step strategy on Instagram. So it is commit, hot 7, research, find, ideate, hook, and create. Let's go into these things. Okay, so first, number one is commit to your 3 content pillars. Now, your 3 content pillars are going to be the 3 main areas that you make content on. For me, number one, my main core pillar, which is 80% of my content, is entrepreneurship. Pillars 2 and 3 are health and fitness and personal development. I had to remember that. I was like, it's not golf. Don't say golf. So it's entrepreneurship, health and fitness, personal development. There's a bit of a crossover between personal development and health and fitness, but I definitely see them as different. And so 80% of my content is entrepreneurship content, and then 10% of my content is health and fitness, and 10% is personal development. Now, the next thing I do is I break down my core pillar, which is the entrepreneurship pillar, into my hot 7 topics. What are my hot 7 topics? These are the 7 main challenges that my perfect future client have, and they need help solving. And guess what? All of the problems that are on this presentation, they're my hot 7. And this all comes together. Like it just honestly, it makes your content, when you get clarity on what the hot 7 is, your YouTube strategy, your sales asset strategy, your marketing messaging, your program, everything just comes together and it makes things effortless. Right. Next is Look, I'm going to be honest. Next thing, I just go and steal. I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. I'll just go and steal. And I'm not going to apologize to anyone. I was thinking of doing the Conor McGregor quote there, but I'm not going to do it. I've already sworn enough. So I research creators that operate within my niche, and I go and I find winning content ideas. So I just basically I go and scan on Instagram on my desktop, and I use my cursor. I go across, and I go and pick. I go and look at how many likes, how many comments, and I just literally visually, I'm like, oh, that one's got 10,000 likes. Oh, that one only got 2,000 likes. Well, I guess the 10,000 likes was more of a validated idea. So I go and take a link to that, and I drop it in my in Notion, and I just create a list of 30 ideas that have been validated by the rest of the world. Okay, does that make sense? I'm literally just going and stealing validated ideas from creators within my niche who have been posting content on similar topics. And this is the biggest mistake I've made in my content creation career, by the way, is not respecting this. I didn't know that all the biggest content creators in the world were doing this. I assumed they were coming up with stuff off the top of their head, and they weren't. They were stealing from everyone else. So I started doing it, and guess what? My Instagram exploded, YouTube exploded. So it works. But once you find the winning content idea, you need to ideate your version. So you need to give your flavor and your unique perspective onto that content. So you need to write you need to change it up based on the way you see things. Now, here's a really key thing that, again, has been a big lesson for me. Most people spend 80% of their energy on 80% of the body of their content, the script, the call to action at the end, when 80% of the energy needs to be on the first section, the hook. Because in this attention economy, if you cannot grab and hold on to that attention for the first few seconds, whether it's a piece of writing, whether that's a video, then you've lost and you've wasted all of your energy on that piece of content. And again, I have a cheat code for this. You just go steal other people's. What I do is I go to people who have huge audiences. I go to their content that has had massive viral reach, and I literally steal word for word their hooks. I did this at the beginning of the year. I haven't even had the chance to do this much this year, as in I've taken the last 2 months off content to really focus on the business, and so I'm getting back into it now. But like in January, I tried this, and I literally had my second video go viral. Got, I think, 250,000 views, which was something that had way more than anything I'd made before. And I stole word for word the hook from one dude. I changed the rest of the video, but I stole the hook from someone else from a piece of content that already had viral proof. Honestly, I've only learned these bloody lessons pretty recently, and it has been game changing for me. So take that as you wish. The next thing I've done is I've created a system to build a database of content so I can repurpose it every 6 months. And I've done this in CreatorOS, so my Notion dashboard that you can get for free in Skool. You can go download it for free. I've built this system. For each one of these, I've got templates for short form videos, long form videos, newsletters, written posts, and in every single template, I've got a bank of different hooks that you can steal. I've got like a list of 30 different hooks that you can use. Just pull it from there, already validated. I've got music to put into your shorts. I cannot tell you how fucking valuable this thing is, and it's free because it helps me. I mean, I find it valuable enough, but this is the kind of shit that I wish I had maybe a year, 2 years ago, because now I have a database of all my content, and every quarter I go back and I look back at all of my previous content and I go and tag on it how well it performed. I've got three categories. I've got great, mediocre, shit, literally, and I just tag it with one of those. And what this means is when I go to create my next 3 months worth of content, or next months, I go to this database and I go and I filter by great. And so I just have the ones that have performed great. And I literally go and I re-download the video and I will just repost the video. It is that simple. And again, this was the answer I was looking for. I was like, how do I create like this one, like just one location? I had all my content like split across different notes and Notion, different pages, and I finally built it. Finally built the answer. So I'm pretty proud of this, and I think it will help you too. And it's made like scheduling and creation effortless. Um, Helpful? Is that helpful? Because I've been playing this content game for years, and to be honest, like I wish I could have had access to this years ago. This would have made things so much easier if I'd had access to this stuff. Because again, I've tried to simplify things into their essence, and this has crushed it for me this year so far. So there you go. Okay, right now on to the long form nurture platform. Okay, so this is actually where we start to shift the beliefs in our new audience from our growth platform. So we want to mention through whether it's stories, videos, we want to give people the opportunity to go from Instagram to YouTube. So we want to give them a call to action, say, hey, here's a link to my latest YouTube video. Go watch it. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh, fuck, I didn't know I need to become a YouTuber. Tough shit. I've had that before. I've had people who've been like, oh, I just don't want to become a YouTuber. So you don't want to make money. You don't want to have a business. You don't want to make an impact. Give me another excuse. So that's the question you have to make is, do I want to actually play this game? And if you do, you must play by the rules. These are the rules. And these are the secrets that, again, I wish I had 2 years ago, but I didn't. So what is a sales asset? So it's a sales asset is a piece of content on a long form channel, which simultaneously generates traffic. So generates new traffic and converts traffic by showcasing your skills, your expertise, your story, your passion, or your knowledge. And it builds reciprocal equity with your audience, and it critically shifts beliefs to align with yours. Really important. So content that simultaneously drives traffic and converts traffic by showcasing your skills, expertise, story, passion, or knowledge. Because it builds reciprocity, because you are going to give away the farm. You're going to give it all away. Go look at my YouTube channel. I've given away everything just in the last couple of months. Game plan, strategy, nuance, tactics. I've given it all away. So you need to build your reciprocity bank account, your goodwill bank account. And you do that by making investments into your bank account. You invest your time and energy into creating sales assets, which pay you back because you are giving goodwill to your audience. And the aim is to give away so much valuable information that your audience feels like they owe you. And eventually, they feel like they owe you so much, they buy from you. There are 5 main sales assets that we teach: case studies, testimonials, your thesis, demonstrations, interviews. Okay. So case studies, showing you actually getting a result with someone. You can also break down these sales assets into carousel posts on Instagram and LinkedIn, by the way. Testimonials, literal videos or written testimonials, or can be small interviews or kind of mini interviews, testimonials from clients. Then your thesis, like breaking down your strategy and the way you see things differently, which I've done a lot of on my YouTube channel. Demonstrations. So for any of you that have more technical based offers, whether it's agency based, freelance based, consultant based, where maybe there's some technical expertise that you can demonstrate. So again, I've done this. If you look at some of my videos, I've showcased some technical expertise before by showcasing some different platforms. And then interviews, which are kind of linked to case studies, but interviews with your clients that have seen success. These are all conversion assets that help convince your audience to buy. And this is what all of our students do. So like Jake, he's got an Amazon FBA coaching business. He's got a great YouTube channel, been posting on there consistently for a while now. Stephen is a relationship coach, building his audience. But he's, again, makes awesome videos. Felipe, again, like content this definitely go check out all of these guys' content. So he's documenting every 2 days. He's doing a kind of little podcast documenting the journey of building his business, which is frankly, I love watching them. He made a real raw one the other day. I think this one, which is like, he'd just got back from Easter holiday and he was really feeling the kind of pressure about building all this stuff. And it was super cool, super authentic. And Luke, who I've known for, again, 2 years now, who is building his sales and automation kind of offer, talking about all the stuff that he's an expert at. He's been doing sales for like 20 years. And me, I do this too. So we all do this. Now, obviously, there's a lot of nuance to this stuff. This is the general structure. So this is how I help people learn this stuff in Launch in our program. So we've got Marketing Magnet and Content Machine modules. So it's made up of 30 advanced marketing and content video trainings going into this stuff in much more detail, 9 playbooks, content strategy training and playbook, sales asset strategy and creation playbook, video sales letter creation playbook, pipeline tracking sheets, community setup checklist, whole load of good stuff in there. And you can actually go see that if you go to the classroom, you can see the curriculum. If you go, you'll be able to find these modules that I put in Skool. You can see the curriculums and what you learn. So that was problem number 5, not having a growing and trusted personal brand. Solution number 5 is build an evergreen attraction and authority flywheel. That was a big one because the truth is, this is CreatorLaunch. We're all trying to be creators. Was that a useful one? Did you learn some stuff there? Yeah, I feel like I learned some stuff there. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Hang in there, guys, because this is going to get even spicier. I promise you. There is some good shit coming. Okay, we ready to rock? Okay, problem number 6. Okay, guys, this is the biggest problem that high-ticket businesses have, not getting enough leads. Now, once you've solved the problem of gaining attention with your personal brand, the next problem is not getting enough perfect future client leads. So what do we want? We want leads who have a painful problem or an unfulfilled desire. They have an urgency to solve it now, and they have the money to solve it now. Can we agree that, like, if we can get those 3 things in a lead, that is sick? Yeah? That's the dream, right? Well, welcome to the answer, the solution, the one simple ad OSA protocol. And this is the first part of the attraction and authority flywheel. I'm going to show you how I do it. So we run a simple ad, one simple ad, which is a boosted reel or carousel post on Instagram. You just need to go look at my Instagram account and go look at the amount of reach on different videos, and you'll find which ones are the ads, because they're the ones with fucking hundreds of thousands of views, and not great videos because they're ads. So it doesn't make sense. So you can literally go and see my ads. So how does this work? So this works because of the specific call to action that we're running with these things. So the specific call to action is we're not telling them to buy from us. That's a key one. We're not saying buy from us, which is what every other fucking ad in history has ever done. Okay. Can you see how that's a massive shift, a massive different mindset shift? So we are not asking people to buy from us. We are asking people, well, we're not even asking. We are suggesting to people that they might find it interesting if they followed us, because we have helped either ourselves or other people get from point A to point B via a transformation. And that transformation might be something that you're interested in. And guess what? The Facebook algorithm these days, it can pick out a fat person from a mile off, and it will feed them ads. It will feed them ads for people who can help them lose weight. That's the truth. It's kind of savage, but that's the truth. So we run a simple ad. Here's a real quick little nugget. This is a real fucking crystal nugget that I've found recently. Tested, and I've kind of done this with some other people, tested this with students, but tested running ads with fewer words and captions. And I never even thought about this, but you've got to remember, like, the words in a caption is one of the main ways in which the algorithm knows who to serve this ad to. So if your caption is full of keywords, and this actually goes, the same concept goes for your organic content. If your caption is full of keywords, key phrases, and things that will help the algorithm push this in front of the right person, we tried this out and it worked better than running really short captions. So that was a real like insight that has worked really well. So that's how we do this. So, okay, how do you script your ad? I'm literally going to give you an ad script here. So your ad needs to include the following: who you serve, how they currently feel, the outcome they desire, the unique mechanism you've used to get them to their desired outcome, why it's different to other things they have tried, the timeline they can expect to achieve results, what makes you an authority, and a call to action. And here is an example of one for an online fitness coaching niche example. Now, I'm going to be honest. I took this from someone who already had an ad live, and I basically pulled the entire script from someone that I know is making 50K a month. So this shit works. Why does it work then? Okay, so if you're a career-focused woman who's let your health slip as a result of being busy, then this video is for you. You're probably super busy all the time and you've been making amazing progress in your career, but all this has meant you've struggled to keep your health in check. So your career is crushing, but you're still struggling to lose that extra 20 pounds that would get you back to those favorite jeans you loved from a few years back. Now, if that's you and you want to start looking and feeling like how you did back in high school, then I want you to follow me here on Instagram, where I'm sharing daily tips, tricks, and lessons from 20 years of helping hundreds of women just like you shed their 20 pounds in 12 weeks or less and keep it off for good. So if that sounds like you and you're ready to get back into being the happiest, healthy, and most confident version of yourself, then make sure to give me a follow and shoot me a DM if you want to connect. Now, can you see how it is used? This ad is using super emotive language, almost triggering. Yeah. Struggle to keep your health in check. Your career's crushing, struggling to lose that extra 20 pounds that would get you back into those favorite jeans you loved from a few years back. That's painful. That's fucking painful. Real painful. And you want to start looking and feeling like how you did back in high school. Even more pain. Even more pain. So if that sounds like you and you're ready to get back to being the happiest, healthy, and most confident version of yourself, make sure to give me a follow and shoot me a DM if you want to connect. Okay, so can you guys see how this is like, how this works? Yeah. Pretty simple, like super simple. You can agree this is really simple. Basic copywriting, but this requires testing. You need to test lots of angles, lots of words. And this is yes, we're using one simple ad, but to get to the ads that really work, it takes a while to test these things, test different angles, test different theories. Okay, right. We have now solved problem number 6. Okay, not getting enough leads. We run one simple ad. Does anyone have any questions before we move on to problem number 7? All good. Right, problem number 7. Not booking enough appointments, not booking enough sales calls. So now we have automated a pipeline of roasting hot leads. We now need to book them onto sales calls. So it's really important. So the primary objective of appointment setting, which is the act of getting people onto sales calls, is to book them onto strategy calls and then get them to watch the video sales letter on your landing page or on YouTube before getting on the call with you, so that they actually know who they're speaking to when they get on a call with you. But, and no one speaks about this, I've never seen anyone speak about this. I will though. So there are a bunch of secondary objectives to appointment setting, because we have to see this as a long game. We have to see this as what are we trying to achieve long term? So what are some of the other secondary objectives to appointment setting? Well, one is let's connect. So I know there's a lot of you on this call who will have got a message from me, either on Skool or Instagram, because I want to connect with you. I literally want to know who you are and how I can help you. And this is what you need to do. So we connect with new audience members. I can't tell you the amount of times I've got messages saying back, being like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you've reached out and say hi. I wasn't expecting that." So what you're doing is you're seeding that first initial bit of trust. Now, next up is question number 2. Ask questions about what they're doing currently, why they followed, and what their dream goals are. This is the discovery phase to understand what they're doing. It's quite a natural thing, right? Like, hey, you follow me. Why? Tell me why. I'd love to know why. Super simple. And then you guide them on their journey because you ask a series of discovery questions, which I'm going to get to in a second. And you then share useful resources with them. So that's why you have a bank of all these useful sales assets. And when people say, I'm struggling with getting leads, I'm struggling with getting clarity, I'm struggling with losing weight and keeping it off, I'm really struggling. Like my wife hates me right now and I wish she didn't. How do I fix it? Hey, I've got a video for you. I'm going to give you this video that I've made that answers this problem that you've got right now. Here it is. It's just a gift. Have it. Can you see how when we're talking about this goodwill reciprocity bank, how this whole system works together? Yeah. The next thing is conversion. We want to convert as many people as possible onto our owned email list. Because remember, when our audiences on social media are rented, they could be taken from us at any moment. And so the only thing we truly own are emails, the only thing. So we want to use some mechanisms to help get their emails. It can be free community like I have on Skool. It can be lead magnets. It can be newsletter sign up. It can be free courses. It can be free tools. There's a whole bunch of different things. And I have a bunch now. I've now built up my kind of bank of free resources, my free conversion resources. I've got my free community. I've got my lead magnet. I've built free email courses. I've got all my things. I've got a free course. And next, finally, we actually want to track and report. So we want to track how many conversations we're having with people, and we want to track and report on them monthly. So we know how many conversations we're having with people. And this is a key thing that I do at launch, which is help people with their key performance indicator monitoring and tracking. Okay, so DM workflow, what do we do? So there's 3 phases in DM appointment setting. There is 1, the connection phase, so building rapport and to prove not to be a bot. Now, I've got a little exercise for you guys, depending on how I've connected with you in the past. But if you go and look at our first message, the first message that I sent you on either Instagram or Skool, you will notice that there is an intentional spelling error in the first message. So I do this on both Skool and on Instagram, and that's intentional. And the intention is to show to you guys, to the people I'm connecting with, that I'm not a bot, that I'm not a robot. So I don't send a message with like tons of emojis or super polished. I send them a quick little one line saying, "Yo," this is my one on Instagram, by the way. I'm going to give this away. Yo, I say, "Yo, thank you for the forkle." That's my intentional misspelling of the word follow. And then what that does is that the next day it gives me a reason to follow up with a second message to say, "Oops, sorry, I meant follow. How are you doing?" I'm giving away some absolute sauce here. Right. So next we have discovery phase. This is where we start asking questions about their background, about their current situation, about where they want to get to, around their challenges, around their pains. And then we transition to offering a call. Hey, it sounds like you're struggling from the same thing one of our students was struggling with until they fixed it. Want to jump on a call? Might be able to help out. I use the ACA framework. So in my conversations, I try and keep this really nice and simple. I've really liked this. Again, I'm afraid I'm going to have to give credit to Hormozy for this one. I learned this, I think, last year. So this is ACA. Acknowledge what they said. Compliment their statement. Ask another question. You ask the next question. ACA. But it's a nice way to keep some nice kind of flow to conversations. It's also good for sales calls when you're on a call as well. Acknowledge what they said, show that you've heard and listened to them, compliment it, and then ask a question. Now, this is really key because these are some of the biggest levers that I found in the DM setting workflow. So first up, getting a response. Speed to lead. In the sales game, speed is everything. So when we get a new follow in our one simple ad method, it is how fast can I send a message to say hello to those people before they forget about me. Step 2 is discovery. So learning their situation. Send them an appropriate resource like a YouTube video. You go to the transition phase, you offer a call, you offer them 2 time options within the next 48 hours, which is really important. You do not want to offer options past 48 hours because past 48 hours, they will have forgotten about who the hell you are, why the hell they said yes to a call. So super important. You only give them times within the next 48 hours. Step 5, you ask for email addresses. Step 6 is you book them through a Calendly link. You fill it in yourself. I have started it depends how engaged they are. If you're feeling like they're really engaged and they're quite keen, but if they're a bit standoffish and they're like not super keen, you do this for them. But if you think that they can go and find their own time, sure, send them your Calendly link to let them find their own time that's going to work for them. But again, what you want to do is you want to make sure you've only got a Calendly, which is only open 2 days in advance. I'm going to show you later my example. Step 7, confirm receipt of the calendar invite. Make sure that they've received it and get them to accept the invite. Super important. And the next thing is you want to make sure that you set up automations, reminders. So I've got a 1 hour before email notification. I've got a 1 day before email notification. I've got a 3 hour before email notification. And in the email, the automated email, it sends a link with the video to the video sales letter. And another video, a follow-up video that has a video of me standing here saying, hey, I'm really excited to meet you. Please make sure to show up for our call. Make sure to bring a notepad, be in a quiet place, and please show up and don't disrespect my time because I'm not going to disrespect yours. Please make sure that you turn up and respect my time, basically. Step 8, you get them to make sure that they've watched the VSL. You message them and say, please can you watch this before our call? Just to make sure that you understand who I am and what we do. They probably have seen it before, but if they haven't, it's just making sure that they have. And then step 9 this is critical. DMing them on the morning of your scheduled call to make sure they turn up. So important. And I've made this mistake because I'll DM them. I'll be like, oh, you call for our call later? And then people have fucked up the time. So instead, I say, in the morning, I'm like, are you cool for our call at 1 p.m. today? I remind them of the time and I put it in their time zone, whatever their time zone is. And we have a full DM appointment setting script and framework. This is what we teach our students. So there's not huge long, but it's a pretty long document taking you through exactly how to do this and how to track and report on KPIs. And that is the problem number 7. That is not booking enough sales calls. And the solution is DM appointment setting system, having something that actually takes people through a system. And this is the system that I've got. And I'm not going to lie, I gave you some of the biggest levers here. So take that. Was that useful? Okay. Right. Now, this is the big one. This is the big one. Problem number 8, not closing enough sales. So sales mastery is arguably the most important skill that you need to have as a high ticket business owner. Because if you can't close shit, you ain't worth shit, literally, because you're not gonna make any money. So sales mastery is made up of 4 components. There's mindset, which is actually potentially the longest lever in all of sales mastery, is actually having mindset and conviction. Skills, script, having a proven process to walk through, and then practice. So mindset, skills, script, and practice. Now, your sales calls must address the 7 beliefs of buying in order for a prospect to have the conviction to buy. Now, this is really important. This is how we do objection prevention instead of objection handling. So we are doing objection prevention versus objection handling. How are we doing that? It's because we are answering and we are asking questions in the sales call that answer the 7 beliefs of buying. So what are the 7 beliefs of buying? The 7 beliefs of buying are the 7 beliefs a person must have before having the conviction to make a purchase. These are also the reasons and objections people will give that results in them not buying. So when someone gives an objection, I need to speak to my spouse. I need to speak to my business partner. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't think this is for me. It's because one of these hasn't been answered. So we answer these preemptively by asking questions to literally ask them on the call. So pain. Pain is the most critical belief, as all the other 6 beliefs typically are predicated on it. And there are 2 types of pain. So there is the pain of having a problem. I have a headache. I need some ibuprofen. I need some pills, some pain relief pills. Or there is the unfulfilled desire. I really want to be free. I want my own business that does 50K a month. I never want to have a boss ever again. I fucking hate my boss, which I used to do. I used to hate my boss. There was pain. That was a pain of an unfulfilled desire. We then have doubt. So doubt refers to the prospect's uncertainty or hesitation about their ability to solve a problem on their own. So this is, do they actually believe they can do this? We have consequence. Consequence involves the prospect's assessment of the consequences of an action compared to the investment required for the solution. This is the cost. The other side of not investing in this, this is what is this going to cost you by not taking action and doing this? It could be not getting towards your goals, more pain, staying far away from your unfulfilled desire. The pain of the fear of not making change, the pain of regret, the pain of things being the same in 12 months' time. Desire focuses on the compelling payoff or benefits that the prospect envisions upon resolving the problem. This is, what is the picture of their dream island? Where do they want to get to? What is their dream island vision that they want to get to? What does that look like? And we ask questions to help them design that with you. Money relates to the prospect's resources and willingness to invest in solving the problem. Do they have the capital required to actually do this? Support entails the prospect's need for approval, validation, or assistance from other stakeholders in the decision-making process. Spouse, business partners, etc. Do you have anyone who would be a part of this decision? Is there anyone else that might be involved in this decision-making process? Literally asking that. Instead of waiting to the end and being like, oh, hey, yeah, this is great. I just need to speak to my wife. No, you ask, is there anyone else who is part of this decision-making process? Oh, you have a wife? Oh, cool, sweet. What does she feel about you investing in yourself like this or getting to your dream result? And you can start defending objection prevention rather than objection handling at the end. And then trust. So trust is the foundation of the buying process. And really, this is basically their confidence in whether you can help them solve their problems. And this is why proof in the form of testimonials, case studies, interviews are super important. So how do we structure a sales call? So a sales call, this is how I teach it, is 7 phases. We have an introduction phase, which is where we build rapport, we set the frame, we take the lead, we ask for permission, and we get our prospects immediately into results-based thinking. We then have a discovery phase, which is asking questions around their background to get context around their background, clarify why they're there and what problem they have, uncover the pain that they're in, paint the vision for the dream island, and uncover what their driver, why are they actually wanting to get to where they want to get to. Then we've got the transition phase, so giving back the power, transition to the pitch phase. We've then got the pitch phase where we explain 4 pillars of our offer. And the really important, this is a key one for you, the pitch phase has to be a dialogue. And we do that by telling them a little bit about what we do, and then we ask them what their thoughts are. And it's a back and forth kind of conversation. It's not just a pitch. Really key is to sell the vacation, not the solution. Sell the vacation, not the plane flight. Because no one wants to wake up at 4 a.m. to get in a cab, a cold cab, to drive 2 hours to the airport, to wait 3 hours in a queue in security to get on a plane with screaming babies for 7 hours to finally get to their vacation destination. No one wants to think about that shit. No one wants to think about the actual hard work of getting to their vacation. So it's really important in this pitch phase is that we sell the vacation, the destination, not the flight. Does that make sense? Yeah. Really, really, really important. Big mistake I've made in the past. Big mistake I've made is like going way too much into the details of the product and the solution instead of where they actually want to end up, which is their dream island. Then we got the committing phase. So getting the prospect committed to the thesis and process, consequence of not making a change. Then we've got the objections phase, uncovering the root of the objection and uncertainty. And then the closing phase, which is detailing next steps, disclosing the investment amount, and processing the investment. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. And I think sales mastery requires you to master the 7 longest levers. So the 7 longest levers are conviction, tone, verbal pacing, pain, results-based thinking, sales resistance, letting go of the sale. I wish I had enough time to go through these. The truth is, I never had enough time to go through these. There is a shit ton to learn in sales mastery, which is why we have all this stuff like in our resources. So we have 13 sales mastery training videos, got a full DM appointment setting script and playbook, full sales call script playbook, objection handling training playbook, pitch phase worksheet, and an offer deck template. Everything you need to actually get all of these things done and make sales. And again, you can go to school and you can see what the curriculum looks like. So problem number 8, not closing enough sales. Solution number 8, becoming a sales Yoda. There is no try. There is just do or do not. Okay, guys. Finally, problem number 9, not having enough time to fulfill new clients. So look, my belief is I actually don't believe one-on-one delivery is the most effective way to get results with clients. I believe a proven process plus milestone checkpoints plus ad hoc consulting plus KPI reporting and success tracking is the most effective way to get results. So my aim is to, and your aim should be to build a business that allows you to step out of the day-to-day. And you do that by building leveraged systems. So here's how I recommend structuring delivery. Like this is obviously massively dependent on your offer, but generally speaking, this is a solid game plan. So from 0 to 10K per month, I recommend building a light V1 course based around your hot 7 topics of focus, which we spoke about earlier, 20 to 40 minutes of training videos on each topic, and any associated worksheets or exercises or SOPs that can help them in each of those top 7 topics. And then having some sort of customer success tracker. We just use a spreadsheet, a master checklist to take people through that process, and then measuring KPIs based around that. And the best solution I've seen for this is using Notion and Loom for a light course, basically free, great option for that. But then you're going to want to do the more sophisticated thing when you get to 10K per month, which you're going to have to make a full V2 program or a course. And you're going to be doing less frequent one-on-ones, move into group coaching, doing deeper trainings on all of your hot 7 topics of focus. You're going to have associated worksheets, exercises, SOPs, and again, customer success tracker, KPI measuring, and then consulting checkpoints and key milestones. And potentially you can add some like audit elements into this, which is what I do, which is why I do some reviews with my students. And this is how I would build out my full or how I've done it. I've done Skool plus Loom. You can do Slack, Circle, Skool as a community, and then use Wistia or Loom. You could also use Discord and WOP as a great option as well if you have a different type of person that might be better suited to Discord. And this is exactly what we did to get Ben from 6K to 30K. We literally moved him from one-on-one coaching, where he's selling a pretty low in the mid-ticket offer, to selling a high-ticket group coaching offer, and increase like 4x his income. And again, we have a whole bunch of training on this in our world-class delivery module. So that is problem number 9, not having enough time to fulfill new clients. And the solution is build scalable and leveraged delivery systems. We did it, guys. Now you know the nine major bottlenecks and the nine key, I can't even read now, the nine key solutions for a high impact, high ticket creator business. Helpful? Yeah. Would you agree that those are like they are like the main bottlenecks? It makes sense, right? Okay. And look, there's now just a few things. You've seen all of that stuff, taken you all through that. There's a few things that sit between you and your dream future business. These are the three main things. There's skills, so knowing how to create content, running ads, appointment setting, sales mastery, being a world-class service provider. There's clarity. In which sequence do you build and roll everything out? There's accountability. What happens when the universe inevitably throws a few rocks at me to knock me off balance? So now you have a choice to make. You have a choice. And like this guy said it earlier, in this life, the only way to buy time is to buy the knowledge from other people that paid with theirs. So option A is you decide to go and try to figure this out on your own, which I hear from people honestly too often. It blows my mind. You decide that you are willing to spend your finite amount of time to see if it works. Perhaps it takes you 12 months to test things out on your own, see if it works, until the next shiny object comes along and you jump to that instead because high ticket just doesn't work for you. I tried it, it doesn't work for me. Or perhaps it takes you 12 years until you finally just give up because you never had full clarity on the exact sequence to do it properly anyway. So there's that option. Or option B is you decide to take the wisdom and advice of Hormozy. You decide instead to pay for the knowledge from someone that has already walked the path you know you need to walk. You decide to invest in your skills, education, and knowledge to learn the methods, tactics, and strategies to build a high impact freedom machine. And you decide to join a community and surround yourself with other ambitious entrepreneurs, build alongside them, help you stay accountable to your goals and actions. And this is actually low key, this is actually probably the least talked about thing. I will tell you, and I bet many of you here will agree, how lonely this journey can be, right? Yeah. And it shouldn't be that way. There's actually, there was a quote from Hormozy in Chris Williamson's recent interview, and he was like, there's usually just a slow clap in the auditorium, and it's just you clapping for you for a long time. And I think that's fucking bullshit. I would happily say that to his face as well. It doesn't have to be that way. He knows it as well. He knows he's just using, he came up with that quote just for effect. It doesn't have to be that way because I've been part of communities. I'm part of like little micro masterminds, and but it doesn't have to be that way. So I think he was just using that for effect. But I get the idea. It doesn't have to be just you clapping. So we've got capacity to take on 5 new students, ambitious students in April. And this is to help you complete the growth infrastructure for your high ticket business over the next 12 months. You guys saw this here, and my voice is now going. So, goal is 10 to 30K per month in income. And we've got a whole load of stuff that we do here. So, 12 months of one on one transformation coaching with me, access to our CreatorLaunch University and private community that we have, CreatorLaunch full program. We've got 80 plus video resources, 30 plus playbooks. We've got our accelerator pods, which I'm super, super excited about, which is our kind of mini mastermind groups that we have similar entrepreneurs grouped together, killing it all together. We've actually then just got a whole load of stuff I help with. So I will literally script your ad. I will literally do it for you. I will help you with your content plan, with your ideal customer research, market research, customer success timeline design. I will help you with all of that stuff. Build out your authority content map and automation system, sale trainings and scripts, accountability group. Too much stuff, to be honest. I should take most of this shit away. Actually, it's too powerful. So yeah, look, 80 plus video trainings, 30 plus playbooks, 3 month. This is what I do. I help you with a 3 month bespoke implementation roadmap. So when we talked about the clarity and the proven roadmap, proven game plan, I literally create that custom for you. Monthly KPI reporting, one-on-one quarterly business reviews with me. This is something I just don't see anyone do. You know, when we're alone, who do we take to look at our numbers with us? No one. So I do this every single month. I get our students to report to me on really simple KPIs and inputs to the system. One-on-one quarterly business reviews every quarter to make sure that we're setting goals and projects for the quarter, which we're literally going through this process now, beginning of Q2. Pipeline tracking sheets, 4 layers of accountability, one-on-one coaching with me, accelerator pod peer group, which I actually think that's the most powerful layer of accountability that no one has. So I'm really excited about having that, because no one does it, but we do it. Community accountability to the rest of the community, and then 24/7 direct messaging access to me. And I tried to kind of simplify this. Like, ultimately, I help you implement and perfect your attraction and authority flywheel. One simple ad protocol, video sales letter, persuasion funnel, craft your fucking epic offer, DM appointment setting script and reviews, sales scripts, community practice, and call reviews. This is just a small glimpse, to be honest. And like I said, I will personally write your first ad for you. And yeah, we give you everything you need to build your success machine. We give you enough time. We give you the proven game plan. I help you with the clarity with a custom roadmap. And I give you about 3 million levels of accountability. And this is the aim, to get you into a finely tuned piece of mechanical engineering, predictable, consistent, and empower you to make your impact and build your dream life of freedom. Now, look, last year, I invested over 10K into my education, and it was never easy. It was always an uncomfortably painful amount. And that's why it works. That's why this shit works. So this is what the investment is I ask for my students. But I want to make it easier for people to get started. So literally for the next 4 days, and this is the only time I'm doing this, I'm giving people an easier access point. So it is 6K to work with me. So 6 of the finest British pounds. I stopped using USD because I was like, what's the point? Come on. One day the pound's going to be dead, so we may as well make the most of it now. So it is, yeah, 6K to work with me, and this is a new option. So to give people a lower entry to be able to work with me, typically I ask for 4K paid in full, but I'm giving 2 options to be able to work with me, because I know it's tough out there. And the biggest thing I don't want happening is people not taking action when they should. So this is the option, but this is only valid for the next few days because I wanted to offer this to you guys. So look, if you are interested in joining Launch, then the next step, after I've given you your free gift, because you guys have made it to this, is to book a 20-minute game plan call with me. So I've opened my calendar for tomorrow, for Friday, for Monday and Tuesday. And I'm going to drop you the link in the chat now, if you want to click on it. And I would personally just like to get to know you, because if you're on this call, I'd love to get to know why you're on this call. So feel free to fill my calendar up. I blocked it off so that I could give it to you guys. But yeah, look, if you are unsure about this, and you don't see any of the value that I personally see, then please don't book a call. Just keep watching my free content until maybe you're convinced. But yeah, if you want to get on a call, book a call, bring your credit card, let's get to work. There's no point fucking around. Let's actually just make this stuff happen. Is that fair enough?
Hey Tom, quick question.
Hit me.
You just said it, but what was I completely missed the deadline. What was that?
The deadline is Tuesday
Okay.
next week. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's, if you, as you look on my calendar now, that's the open slots are until Tuesday.
Cool. Thanks.
And all good. So you can go, if you miss out the link now, you can go find the link. You just go on Instagram. It's the book a call game plan link there. You can literally get that there, or on my website, creatorlaunch.com. So anytime within the next kind of 4 days, let's have a chat.